DJM TV.
Is so akin to military organization. You have one man sitting at the top of the government and his orders percolates to the bottom. No. In a democratic dispensation, power must come from the bottom up. The power of the people is what you drive our politicians and our leaders in taking decisions. Because you are elected, you told them, please trust me, that I will go there to manage the resources of your nation for your benefit, not the other way around.
Every night.
Saying that I'm concerned means a lot, not embarrassed, because we are all Nigerians. I said that there is an operation that we carry out in the military that is codenamed Aid to Civil Power. If you have an insurgency and the police action is not able to resolve them, then you call in the military to back them up and take over the operation. That is the aid to civil power. I'm not sure whether it has been instituted, and there have been all kinds of stories on this Boko Haram, even before the president came in. And when President Jonathan was there, this thing was building up. There were a lot of information inputs that were being put forward at that time. And instead of people listening, they politicized those inputs and turned us in a direction that scattered the whole operation. I think for me, I said embarrassed. We had suggested severally, and this is not a matter of party B or party C now. I'm talking as a Nigerian, as a retired general, and as somebody who has been in government too, that there is need to interact with all the leaders from the various corners of this country. I said that before. Let the president make sure they call all these people, because when in our local parlance, in those days, once you have something that is much bigger than what you had experienced before, the local Oba or whatever, the king there, will call all the leaders of the various quarters and brainstorm. Like we say in my local parlance, you put your heads together, you put stomach to stomach, and discuss these things. Let's find solutions. It is not that a one man should wear the brains of everybody. It is when you interact, you discuss, that you find, ways of suggested solutions to the problems that are befalling us. So, in my opinion, I think that rather than saying embarrassed, I said I'm very concerned. They have tried all kinds of methodologies in the past. For us, it has not worked. It has not worked. So you must alter course and do something else. And it is the responsibility of the leadership to call all those people. They are there. There are some very senior retired generals. There are others that are obas, from various quarters of this country. There are also very, very senior politicians. Call them up together, lock the door, discuss the problems of this country. Forget about your party B or party A or party C. It is now a national malady. And so it calls for everybody to put their hands on the deck and see what we can come out with. So everybody will leave that meeting feeling that you are part of the solution. It's our country. That's one side. The other issue for me is that the system that was handed over since 1999 is not working. working. And you will know that the lack of communal security is what is being transported and is expanding and is completely consuming this country. It means that the issue of total centralization of the power of the presidency is not working. You have to devolve power to the states so that the state itself, the local government, will also have their own powers, so that from unit to unit, you can effectively, the people in that community will know that this chairman, we voted you and your team to make sure that life means, brings more, gives more meaning to them. And if you don't do that, they can remove you in 4 years. But to leave it that one man will sit and the power will percolate from top to bottom with this massive nation, that system has not worked. We have tried it. It is not working. Don't let us deceive ourselves. And there had been a national conference. A report was submitted. That report is still there. We have another 1 year of the grace of God to let us sit down and discuss the report of that conference. And let's move forward. For me, it is not a matter of you hate this one, you hate that one. You know, the consequences now. One, you are perpetuating the lack of cohesion amongst the tribes. They are no longer talking together. When I was young, I mean, the Fulanis used to bring their cows over 75 years now. And after selling the cows in Lagos, they would have been able to extract the urine of the cows. And Agumudadani, they were going all over Lagos. People bought a lot of the Agumudadani. There was no friction. There was no descending voices. They made friendship with everybody. And they made their money, went back there, and will come back with the cows. So now what is the problem? Why are we having so much tension amongst ourselves? I think something is, some devil has entered this country. Maybe we have offended God. And I think we need a lot of prayers, you know. We need a lot of prayers and sincerity of purpose and commitment. Lack of greed. You know, it's so mind-boggling.
Well, we do certainly need some kind of atonement.
Suddenly, it has become the noise all over Nigeria that all these kidnappings and things were, you know, another organized methodology of extracting money from people. I believe that's why I said, just before you asked the question, that I believe some devil has entered this country. Because what do you gain? If people are genuinely, honestly engaged, they have a source of income, there is employment in the land, there is, you know, all the policies of business and all that are all working akin with the standard of civility. Who will now think of going to kidnap the child of Mr. A for a ransom, and it is organized? It's the lowest ebb of any civilization. He hasn't called me, and the general, the chief of army, haven't heard anything from anybody. But to me, that's something that is very strange in this land. What is going on here? You use the money to feed yourself, to send your own children. You know that's an illicit and illegal money. Who can guarantee that your own child will not be kidnapped tomorrow for you to pay? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I mean, we must, or more, what happened to the civics that we learned when we were young? If If you do something evil to another man, who tells you that tomorrow that evil will not come into your house? What the hell is going on? He hasn't called me, but, you know, we have a pool of people that he can call. But this is my view. It's very national development that the likes of him, first of all, we must, whoever is going to come to take over the mantle of this country, I am of the opinion that the system of governance we are running now is completely ineffective. It is so militarized in its structure, in its nature, and we cannot be waiting for others from one single person. Let the power be devolved to all the states so that in each area, you know, people, because as you go from one state to the other, the culture is different, the attitude is different, the resources are different. So it is the aggregation of all these states that will make this mighty nation. But to sit down in one place with somebody backing others like a military organization, it is not working. So for this man, this clown, saying he wants to be president, you should ask him, what did he do where he governed before? He has appropriated, we've been shouting about it, and I'm still saying it now publicly, that the EFCC should go urgently, to go and investigate the Alpha Beta company owned by him. They haven't paid any taxes since he started. I am reliably told that they garnered almost 30-something billion in 1 year, last year, from the treasury of this country. If that money is available, would they not have used the money to alleviate the sufferings, to give succor to the people, to millions of those people at the bottom of the base? Individually, one person took 34.7 billion by his company. Which tax did he pay? And we've been talking that EFCC should go. Even the former managing director wrote a petition up till now. I'm challenging the young man that is there now for the posterity of this nation, because he's no longer too young. At 40, he's no longer young. There were former heads of state that became heads of state at 31 or 32. Papa Olowo was 33 when he took over as premier, and Baba Obasanjo too was head of state when he was 39. So at 40, I believe your life really starts. They can be the turning point. Let him be bold enough and save his own generation. We must make sure that they investigate him. He is junketing all over the place. It's an insult to the civilized minds, those who have worked so hard in this country. And look at the joke. Suddenly, Lagos State government is now saying they're setting up a law. Nobody should go to EFCC. They should be the judge, the jury in their own case. What a mess. What a nonsense. Please, this nation must survive. If by whatever yardstick it becomes the head of state, I will cease to be a Nigerian. And I'm not joking. How?
About Sheikh Gumi, I talked about. You talked about a moral compass and a religious leader. Have been talking to some of these bandits and negotiating with them, and ransom still being paid anyway.
Yeah, the Dr. Gumi, Sheikh Gumi, yeah. What he was saying, and I like people to be honest. You know what he said? I listened to it. He said he championed the fight against Jonathan during his period and was calling that Jonathan must resign because so much blood has been spilled. He said it openly. He said, so what for now, if he did that to Jonathan and he's asking his own brother, that's the way he said it, that he's asking his own brother that he must change his system. Otherwise, he will lead a protest down that he himself, because more blood has been spilled now than Jonathan's period. So he's going to ask him that he must also resign in a double fashion. You know, he was talking to his people in his teaching. And I looked at it and I said, ooh, well, if he was that bold, which was true, he said it at that time, why can't he say it now? Because the situation has not gotten better. But all those jokers, like the Minister of Information speaking from both sides of his mouth and lying all the way, and the additionals of this world and the other gentleman there covering up, let's tell the truth. Say it the way it is. Like we say in my palace, why don't you say it? If you say it, you die. If you don't say it, you die. Why don't you say it and let the devil be ashamed? You know, there's a popular saying, if you fool me for the first time, shame on you. But if I'm so stupid that you fool me the second time, then shame on me. Nigeria has grown. This nation has produced all parts of the country. I see the young minds, all these young people from all over this country, the north, the south, the east, and all that. They need a future. We need to translate and transform our Nigerian country to a nation. We are just existing as a country and not a nation. And it's going to affect the future of our people. Please, let's do what is just, what is fair, what is right, for the sake of these young generations that are coming.
I mean, these are tough times in Nigeria. I would like to repeat the point we both agreed upon earlier, that military rule is an aberration. Yeah. And as a company, Arise News,
absolutely,
our policy is that there's no role for the military in democratic governance. So I'm just restating that for the benefit of those who could twist the statements. Now, let me go back to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Chief, I hope you are aware that on the basis of some of the things you said, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu could take you to task. You called him a clown. You said he has to account for some money. But these are allegations.
You bet.
Yes. Well, I hope he doesn't sue you for defamation. Those are your words, not ours, in this station here. But very quickly, the let
us go to court.
Well, okay.
Let us go to court so that we both will be talking under oath. I am saying these allegations, we have documents. EFCC has been investigating. The former managing director of Alpha Beta himself stated, black and white, how they have been siphoning the money of the Lagos State Treasury. And you're saying, let him take me to court. We will go there, I will say my own, and the papers will be there, let him defend it. First of all, we want the original certificates of the university he claims he attended. And exactly what is his own real name. Look, you want to get a clown to be your head? What you will breed will be a pool of clowns. We need people. And there are people in this country.
Chief,
I tell the truth. What you have said is a cacophony of some jokers in the beer parlor. I'm sorry, Dr. Abati. It's a cacophony of jokers in the beer parlor. Who told you that I was the one who always nominated the governor? In our party, no individual has a right to handpick because it's not your private business. There is no time there had never been a primary in our party. The accusation you levying against me is exactly what they do with the emperor there. Bola Tinubu is an emperor. God bless you if you are not part of his own line. You know, that's what Trump is trying to do with the Republican Party now in the United States. And I wish him the best of luck. Here, you I want to call any of me and any of them and him for a debate even at 3 a.m. in the morning in the burial ground, I will be there to say that I, Bode George, had been handpicking people. You know what is wrong with us? The process of the INEC is archaic, it's unacceptable, it is as old as the centuries, and so it gives room for manipulation, figures. From your polling unit, the results are hand-carried. From there, from your polling unit to the collation center. Even from the results from Lagos State, it is also hand-carried by somebody to Abuja. Isn't that a joke? We're in the 21st century. When computer, even kids now in primary school, they know what to do with their iPad. They know what to do with social, whatever they call it. The internet is there. We have been asking government for us to be serious, that no intervention, no human intervention, even from across the waters in the riverine areas. You know, people come by boat carrying the result physically. Isn't it a joke? Where is that giant of Africa? Computer is available. The software is readily available. We have a lot of brilliant young people in Nigeria who can write programs for us and bring out a super program for us to run our election. We are still asking, where is the e-voting? You know, they tried. One, if you go to your polling something, you bring out your PVC card. That PVC card, you strike it against a small gadget, it identifies you. Isn't that the same modern technology? So what is wrong in you pressing the button for the party that you want, and it's automatically registered in any location you want it? Even if you want to store it, you can store it in the clouds. That result. So he's sitting here clowning, manipulating this result. You know what happened in the last election? Where have you ever had anywhere in the world where you have a bullion van on the day of election? Were they carrying food for him to his house? Bullion van. He was not arrested. He was not cocooned. He was not containerized and be taken to the cooler. Please, you know, these are not things that he had done in the dark, openly. So why are you saying Bode George is this and all that? It is absolute nonsense that they run as election. I have seen it. We have watched it. And we have been crying for this nation to move forward, for credible, responsible, respectable, fair-minded people to represent their people. Let that process be modernized. Otherwise, you have the man who has stolen so much money, controlling all those who want to be governor, to be representative, to be state. Yeah.
DJM TV.